Hi, today is the 20th of February and it is 2:48 p.m. I would like to make a couple of comments first. I'm going to do a lot of comments, but first and foremost, I would like to state something to the City of Toronto. Your sidewalks are horrible. They're horrible. Anyone walking throughout the City of Toronto over the past few days after our enormous snowstorm, I don't understand the concept. Okay, there was this big thing when there was, I can't remember the mayor, but be nice, clear your ice. Majority of people in my neighborhood, all of the sidewalks are clean. Up until you get a point where the City of Toronto is responsible to clean the sidewalks. And then there's snowbanks, and then there's paths where people have actually walked across, and you could see. And in fact, I fell in a snowbank on my way to the Mimico GO train station. But the City of Toronto has yet to clean the sidewalks. I've been over by, where was I? North Queen, East Mall area. I've been here near Islington, and I'll speak about that in a moment. But the City of Toronto, you need to clean the sidewalks. If it's the GO Transit's responsibility, it's clean. If it's TTC's responsibility, it's clean. My way, it's clean. However, the City of Toronto, who will give a fine to individuals who do not have their walkway clean in front of their home for, I think, up to $3,000, the City of Toronto fails to get people out there and clean their sidewalks, thus resulting in people such as myself falling in snowbanks. I saw two individuals from my neighborhood when I was coming back from where I had to go this morning, and they had canes. Two elderly individuals had canes, and they had to overstep a snowbank that was sort of pathway had been, because the majority of people had been walking past. They had to, at a street, they had to step over a snowbank. Now you see, anyone in their right mind would help them. I stopped and I saw, see if I could help them. But you think the City of Toronto would realize this, that the amount of elderly people, the amount of disabled people, the amount of people who need to access the walkways in order to get to transit, TTC, bus shelters, everything cleared up. I don't know how long it took them. They do it within a 24-hour period. It's been what? Today is, help me out, Thursday, the 20th, after a snowstorm from the weekend, right? Snowbanks are very high. They're about 6 feet high, 5 feet high in some areas, and yet the sidewalks are not clean. So that's my little not plug, but that's my shout out to the City of Toronto. Please clean your sidewalks. And if there's not enough manpower or people to help clean them, how about we hire some people and we train them? There's an idea, because there are an unemployment rate here in the City of Toronto, such as I'm learning in the GTA, as with anywhere. And they don't need to be educated in terms of university degrees. They don't need to have a college degree. They don't even need to have an apprenticeship. All they need to do is be trained. Be trainable, be able to read, and be able to write. Be literate. Okay, now I would like to speak about a couple of things. I had an appointment, like I said yesterday. I went to the East Mall area. Connect Hearing. The reason why I went to Connect Hearing is because I've been speaking about the microphones that are in my hearing aids. And the microphones that were actually, when someone broke into my apartment while I was at Cushfire, Toronto, I was out on a Sunday, gone to church, and they broke into my apartment and they scattered microscopic microphones all over my bedding and everywhere actually, and it ended up on my pillow. Because I sleep on my right side, what ended up happening was it came into my ear canal. Yeah, it's embedded in my ear canal. So not only do I have microscopic microphones in my hearing aids, which the audiologist saw where they were, I was going to change the wires, but I didn't let her because what I needed is I needed for the police to see it when the police see it, so they know. Um, it's embedded in my ear. And yesterday, when I had a pressure test and a hearing test, and I'm going to say something. People know about angels. People know about the angels that I have. People have seen me or they photographed me. They may deny it. I don't care if they do. But there was an angel, and our Heavenly Father has spoken to me about this. There was an angel who was in my ear or something. Well, it was an angel that was in my ear that prevented my whole eardrum and ear canal from exploding. I have a copy of my hearing aid, my hearing test, which apparently there's a hearing loss and it's stabilized. They recalibrated my hearing aids against the computer there, and just for background noise. And the individual who decided to put in microphones on my pillows will be charged eventually, and part of the settlement is going to be for new hearing aids. However, what's going to end up happening is I cannot get that microphone cannot be taken out. I should get a referral to an ear, nose, and throat specialist, but if it's embedded in my ear canal, the only way they would have to do it is, I'm suspecting, I'm not a surgeon, I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination, but they would have to come down and they would have to reconstruct my ear canal, thus resulting in quite possibly losing my hearing totally, but I don't think I will because our Heavenly Father is actually healing it, which is really cool. The other thing I'd like to speak about is, because of the lawsuit and because of I have not yet to be communicated with a lawyer. A lawyer hasn't taken my case yet, but that's okay. I have enough evidence that they can. I have pictures. I have pictures of individuals. I have paperwork, and I have documentation. So I'm waiting for a lawyer to call me. But I did, however, have to access the Daily Bread Food Bank. Mayor Olivia Chow, and whom I love this woman. I love Jack Layton, her former husband, who is now in left this earth, deceased. Mayor Olivia Chow has, in fact, she's identified and proclaimed a food crisis in this city. There's a food crisis in the sense that working people, they have to choose between paying their rent, paying a mortgage, or buying food. They have to choose between housing, accessing a vehicle, paying for a vehicle, paying for transit, or buying food. So reality is that I have my online training. My manager has set me a deadline to finish my course and to get my certifications and to go forth into my provincials, and that's mid-March. I'm doing very well. I haven't got any of my certifications yet. Truth be told is I went through my ethics and professional module. I failed the certification 3 times. My problem is that one of my problems is that I get really nervous. I have ADHD, adult attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I get really nervous in tests. And then no one told me it was an open book. Okay, so I'm doing 3 certifications without it being an open book. I'm wondering, why are all these people getting their certifications very quickly? Why are they doing it? They're going module after module and getting certifications. It's an open book test. The provincials aren't open book tests, but its certifications are open book. So reality is, I'm failing my certification by 1 or 2, and I'm getting it, and all those people who are getting it, they're doing an open book. So I think that's kind of pretty good, isn't it? Anyways, so I've gone through ethics, accident and sickness insurance, and I'm finishing on segregated funds today, hopefully. And then I'll be moving on to the life insurance module. My manager has stated that she wants me done by March 15th. And I have stated to my manager that I either want to specialize in accident sickness insurance, but now I'm more interested in segregated funds. Segregated funds is an investment fund which is sold by insurance agents only and insurance companies only. It's similar to mutual funds that are sold by financial institutions such as your bank or your bank or bank or credit union, I guess. So, and there's different types of, I'm going to go on with segregated funds and annuities and what you can do and lock in for 10 years. I'm interested in investments. I know what investments are. I'm knowledgeable about investments. So that's kind of the avenue in which I'm going to take. My manager is not so interested in the fact that I want to do segregated funds and annuities, because I don't think Globe Life or American Life Insurance Company, I don't think they focus on that, because there's not a lot of people who would like to buy a segregated fund or annuity with their life insurance. That's not common, and so they're really big on making money. I, on the other hand, am really big on getting a visa and getting into the US of A. That's going to be my only avenue right now because of their, and I'm going to say it, their asshole president that they elected, President Trump, who I believe the whole election was bought by the NRA. But that's just my personal belief. That's not me hearing from our Heavenly Father or anybody else. Anyways, the other thing I want to make a comment about is that I'm actually where I'm located on Judson Street in Toronto. It's right near Islington Avenue, about 10-minute walk between Islington and Royal York Road. So Royal York Road, right at the end, is Mimico GO station. I can go to Islington, take the bus, and go to the subway or whatever. But it is about a 20-minute walk, 15-minute walk away from the Daily Bread food bank on New Toronto Street. I am going to volunteer there because I'm going to set up to do my volunteer a couple of days a week, get into the community, meet some people, and as well as I have my Saturdays where I go up to Scarborough to see my Nigerian family, and just do that for now, as well as do my online course. I also would like to state that people who use the food bank have been noted as saying that they are losers. I've heard people say that only drug addicts use the food bank. I've heard people say that only people who have no jobs and they're a drain on the communities in which they live use the food bank. People who are motivated to use the food bank. People who are mooches use the food bank. When the mayor recognizes that we have a food, they call it a food emergency, a food insecurity. Poverty is a reality in this city, in this country. Poverty. And I saw online what somebody posted in regards to putting some, small little houses, tiny houses somewhere, in regards to easing the shelter system. Not all people who access the food bank have a drug addiction. Not all people who access the food bank are losers. I walked in there, there's families who access, there's new immigrants, there's refugees. Just because you've never accessed the food bank does not mean you're not immune. Just because you've never actually lost a job and lost everything doesn't mean you're immune from losing your everything and from being on the streets. It is through sheer, I'm not going to say luck. I'm not talking about myself, but I'm talking about others who have never had the experience of using the food bank, who make comments, who have never had the experience of being on the streets. I was not that kind of person. I accessed the food bank in St. Catharines a couple of times, but I was not that kind of person until I had my stroke, until I became what they call unemployable. I'm an intelligent person. I'm an educated person. I'm a person who reads. I'm a person who goes to the library. I'm a person who seeks our Heavenly Father's face about every single aspect of my life. I'm a person who has lost everything. Everything I own, except what's in this room, that I rented and that I can afford through my ODSP. I'm a person who's been threatened by those I'm maligned physically, not physically maligned, but my character, who's been slandered by Sandra Long and Ash. And Norman Brown, Lillian Brown. In fact, when I was waiting at the bus stop at Islington and New Toronto Street, Sandra Long passed by me and took a picture. In fact, Sandra Long contacted the Queensway, and because Sandra Long has stated that I am a danger, I am an addict. I don't know what she said exactly. I do know what. All I know is that she has spoken to the Queensway because she doesn't want me to go to church anywhere in the GTA. Norman Brown and Lillian Brown and Sandra Long are still, and Jonas Regato are still hell-bent on the fact that they want me to see in St. Catharines. Ash, I don't know. Ash, I could care less about. Why do they want me in St. Catharines? Maybe you should ask them if you go to Catch Fire Toronto. I don't want to go back to St. Catharines. Norman Brown is hell-bent on asking me to be his companion, when the reality is I'm not a member of Catch Fire Toronto. Yesterday, I was followed by Dallas Winstead, by Jeff Yancey, and by Norman Brown, who saw me at Long Branch, and Dallas Winston, who was at Long Branch. And I was actually followed by the police as well. I was followed by Jeff Yancey, and Kevin Jeffries was out here on Judson Street over by Islington Avenue, going up to Islington Avenue. Why? Norman Brown believes that, and constantly walks around the office, a bidding schedule awaits you. They were going to kidnap me and bring me to a hotel or somewhere else, basically, to rape me. Norman Brown, Ben Strickland, Dallas Winston, Jonas Regato, and then apparently what they were going to do, they were going to take me and throw me in the middle of the reception area at 268 Atwell, electrocute me, and throw me in the back of a truck and bring me back to St. Catharines for lynching. Apparently, I was given a letter and a raping schedule by Dallas Winston, who showed up at South Parade Court. I don't receive it. You cannot take someone off the streets. Well, you can, actually. People have done it. It's called kidnapping, and it's called sexual exploitation, and it's called rape, and it's called a number of other crimes. Through the microphone and the surveillance camera that I still know of, because the microphone is in my ears, right? And it is two-way. So, I don't know how it works. They know how it works. Jonas Regato would know how it works. I have asked, what legal right do you have over me? Because they're all in the enemy's camp. So the legal rights that they would have over me, they don't have any. None whatsoever. No legal rights whatsoever. In that sense. If I had a covenant with them, in terms of if I had sex with either one of them, any of them, Jonathan or Norma Brown or Dallas or anybody, then that would be a covenant. I haven't had a covenant with them. I've never had sex with them. Leastwise, to my knowledge, I've never had sex with them. My belief is that Lillian Brown and Sandra Long, who have been given my panties and bras that Jonathan Regato has stolen from Escada and from Thomas Street. Now, I'm wondering my question is this: what legal right does Sandra Long or Lillian Brown have over me? They don't. They have no legal rights. I'm not a member of Catch Fire Toronto, so there's no legal right there. I have a letter of release. In fact, I think that I also have to do something else. You see, Ash has threatened everyone who is a leader and a leader and a staff member at Castle Fire Toronto. They are not allowed to see people who have been released from the church for fear of losing their job. That's a cult. If someone would like to come and see me, who's a leader or goes to the church or who's on staff or anything, then it is their right, as long as it's not during working hours and as long as it's not on a church property. It could be meeting them after work at the bus stop at Marmac. It could be meeting them before work at Kipling Station. It could mean Saturday, anything, in the evening, during the day, after church on a Sunday afternoon. You see, when anyone who is a boss in a business, because the reality is a church is a business, and when anyone who is a boss or a supervisor or a manager says, and I'm going to look this up on the Criminal Code of Canada as well, but when they say, no, you can't, to their staff members, I've been a manager, I've been a supervisor in different areas, in retail, at the Superstore, I was a department manager, I've been a supervisor of a child care center. If I had said to my staff at any one point, no, you cannot go see this person, you're going to lose your job, I will have your contract, I will have you out, you will be fired. They could take me to court. They could take me to court for wrongful termination. If I did go through with it and I followed through and I said, no, I'm sorry, you saw this person, I don't like this person doesn't work for us anymore, this person doesn't associate with us anymore, this person has something against me because I've slandered them, this person has something against me, I have it in for this person, but you're my staff member or you work at this place I work for and I'm the leader or I'm the manager and I am forbidding you to go and see this person or you're going to lose your job. That is a verbal threat. That is something that's illegal. I could not do that. Now, the only time I've done anything like that when I was a manager, I was a supervisor of a child care center, and I caught two of my staff smoking marijuana outside in the parking lot on the lunch break. I had them suspended and ultimately then terminated. They were working with children. Marijuana was illegal. If they wanted to do that outside of business hours, if they chose to leave the property, leave the school grounds, and because I was in a school, if they choose to leave the school grounds, sit in their vehicle as they're leaving, light up a marijuana joint after hours, I could say nothing. But because they were under my supervisory authority and because they were in my supervisory place of business and because they were also looking after children, I had them suspended, I had them reported, and I actually had them terminated. I think another thing I'd like to say, it's cold. I don't know what the temperature is. I do know it's cold. And when I was called on the phone from the Daily Fed Food Bank, because I did an intake online, and I was trying to get an appointment to come in, and I was called, and they were saying that they line up outside. Quite often, people who are on shelters who have to line up outside who are improperly dressed. Why? Because they can't afford to be properly dressed. It's minus something out there. What's the temperature? I'm seeing on my computer, minus, I need new glasses, minus 8 degrees. It is minus 8 degrees out there. Who in their right minds, showing compassion to anyone out there, would make people wait outside for food in minus 8 degrees weather? People are dying. People on the streets are dying. People who need food should not be treated that way. I have been treated as a second-class citizen just because of the fact that I need to access a resource in the community. The community is needed there. However, is a resource. That's the community. That's the reality of it. The community, they are community resources set up by individuals who saw a need. So, yeah. Other than that, I'm moving forward. I have yet to forgive those who have bought every single thing of that I own in the storage unit. I have made a list, but then I'm realizing more and more as I notice things what I forgot, what I've lost. People say, well, it's your fault. You had a bill for $1,400. It was an accounting with 39% tax being charged. I offered $500. I tried to negotiate. There was no communication that they would accept that. So here's my theory. It's not a theory, actually. Here's the truth. The truth is that when you've lost everything and you have nothing, what it states is that the throne room in the storehouse and the throne room of the kingdom of heaven, it will have a rippling effect, and it is going to be a massive inheritance that I will get. And I truly believe in that. Right now, when people say, who has released you to minister? Our Heavenly Father has released me to minister. Our Heavenly Father speaks to me. If I choose, I am going to be volunteering. And when I volunteer, and Sandra Long has already contacted the food bank. She drove past me and took a picture at the bus stop. And she stated that I'm a drug addict and a mental patient. Well, the reality is that I will minister to those our Heavenly Father puts in place in front of me. And He already has. He's already given me people to speak to. He's already just speaking to someone, not necessarily laying hands on them and praying for them, although I have done that well at the Queensway. Just outstretching my hand and where our Heavenly Father has told me to, and apparently they were healed. When people are put in place with me, put in front of me, that sounds strange. When people who are in my life, we always say for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, when they come into my life for a reason, it is because He's asked me to minister to them. A kind word, a prayer, anything. That is our Heavenly Father's ministry. And that is what it is here on earth. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the church. It doesn't necessarily, and quite honestly, the church has failed miserably. Different aspects of people, different people groups, they have failed. But that's something that needs to be redeemed. And it will be. I think it will be. So anyway, I just want to say that City of Toronto, clean your streets. Clean the sidewalks. People are out there trying to get around. Don't treat people like they're second-class citizens just because they're accessing the resources that are out there, the community resources like the Daily Bread Food Bank. And yeah, love people who you see. Thanks. Have a good day.